Hello beautiful, welcome back. My name is Bettina if you're around here. In this video, I am here to share with you my Pan Those Eyeshadows intro for 2025. I am going to do this project again. I really enjoy doing this project for panning my eyeshadows and getting use out of my collection. So I am going to do this one again this year. So if you want to see what eyeshadows I'm going to be working on first, then stay tuned. But before we get into the video, if you're around here and you do want to join the family and you want to keep up to date on all my project panning content and my other beauty related content this year, make sure you subscribe down below. And without further ado, let's jump on into the intro. So Pan Those Eyeshadows is obviously a project pan that's based on panning eyeshadows. This year again, I am going to use my prompt spreadsheet. I used the prompt spreadsheet that Makeup by Lainey created a couple of years ago, and I'm trying to work my way through completing every prompt on that spreadsheet. I think I have about 75 to 80 left on the spreadsheet, so I'm not doing that great, but I am just going to continue to knock some of those off the list and continue on my merry little way. So I like to focus on 5 shadows at a time, but I don't know whether, I feel like 5 is a good number to include in the project, but maybe I could find, I don't know if I would get more progress on it if I only did 4. I'm going to continue with 5 at this stage, but if I feel like it's getting overwhelming, because I am also doing Project Level Up again this year, so combining those two, I always have 5, so that means I'm working on between 6 to 12 eyeshadows at a time with the combination of both Pan Those Eyeshadows and Project Level Up. If it gets too much, I might drop back, or I might stop the level or stop going up the levels with Project Level Up. So I'm just going to gauge it as I go throughout the year and see, but I do have great ambitions in terms of wanting to pan a lot of eyeshadows again this year. So I think 5 is probably a good number to assist me with that goal. So all that being said, I am going to bring out my Tiny Decisions wheel that has all of the prompts that I still have outstanding on it. So we have a shadow that starts with K. An indie shadow. Shadow from my favorite palette. Now I think I have already done that one. Make sure it's not on there twice. Oh, it is on there twice. So shadow from my favorite palette. So it might be like my second or third favorite palette, because I think I've already done like 2 of those prompts. Next. Brown Shadow Shimmer, and last but not least, we have a multi-chrome. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so I've got a multi-chrome, an indie shadow, which a multi-chrome could very well hit both of those, a shadow that starts with K, a shadow from my favorite palette, and a brown shimmer shadow. So I'm going to go grab all of those 5 out of my collection, and then I will be back to show you what I've picked. Okay, that took me a lot longer than I thought it would, and it was a lot harder than I thought it would. I don't know if you realize how hard it is to find a shadow that starts with the letter K. It's actually quite difficult. Okay, so I have my palettes here that I've picked. I don't know if I picked the right ones, but we're gonna go with it. I'm covered in like glitter. Okay, so we'll start with Brown Shadow Shimmer. So I've grabbed my Be Perfect Carnival 1 palette. Now, I feel like there's kind of 2 in here, but one kind of leans a little bit more like rose goldy, one leans a little bit more brown shimmer. So I think I'm going to go for this one here, Queenie. as a brown shimmer. And let me swatch that for you. So that's that first one. And I think that this, because it's such a wearable color, I will get a lot of use out of it, and I'll probably find that I can get pan quickly, fingers crossed. Then next, actually I think I have quite a few shimmers. I think I have two mattes and 3 shimmers, maybe 3 mattes and 2 shimmers. I haven't quite decided which shadow just yet out of my favorite palette. Then for a shadow that starts with the letter K, I have here, this is my Sydney Grace singles. So I have, these are basically all of the green ones. This is the best I could find for a shadow starting with K. These are all mattes as well, unfortunately. So I have this color here, which is called Kiwi Fruit. And then I have this deeper color here, which is called Key Lime. So I think I'm going to go for Kiwi Fruit, which is the slightly lighter one out of the 2. I just think it might be a little bit more versatile. As versatile as a green can get. This one I think is going to take me a very long time to hit pan on. I mean, I could technically wear it with that brown. That doesn't look too bad. So I'm going to have a play. These shadows in this palette are hardly touched. I went through like a stage of wanting to get into greens, and then I received them and I never really got into greens. So I have like all of these green colors, but I guess I might leave them in this palette because that way I can actually use these lighter tones as well to create a look. So I might pop this whole palette in my makeup drawer, my daily makeup drawer, to maybe try and assist me getting some more use out of that palette. And then for indie shadow, I am bringing in my and then for my indie shadow, I'm bringing in the Nubian by Dubious Place. I'm actually going really easy with this palette, and I'm going to rotate this one in here, which is just like a mid-tone brown. And I think that I can just get a lot of use out of this, just blending like creases out and whatnot. So I just think it will be a really easy shadow to get a lot of use out of. I, in the past, have always kind of really enjoyed this palette, and this used to be kind of my go-to travel eyeshadow palette because it was just an easy done eyeshadow, and I had like every different option for neutral looks. I always lean towards neutral when I'm traveling or when I'm away. I just think it's easier because it's easy to work with, it's easy to blend, you don't need to take as many shadows, and it also always looks good and flattering. So this gave me like heaps of options to go like deeper, more like sultry, or like easier and just more like light neutral. So that's those 3 so far. So we've got brown shimmer shadow, starts with the letter K, indie makeup. Then we have my favorite palette and my multi-chrome. So for multi-chrome, I'm bringing in my Cliona multi-chromes. So out of this palette, I have almost a full palette here of multi-chromes. I'm going to go for either one of these here. I don't exactly know what they're called just yet because everything's kind of jam-packed in there and I don't want to dig my nails. So I am going to pick the color out and then I will pull the shadow out later. I think I'm going to go for this one here, which is kind of more of a bit of a pinkier tone. I don't know whether you can see the shifts there, but it's a beautiful color and I think I can get some good use out of it. And it's also kind of right up my alley when it comes to these kind of colors. I just find them a bit easier to work with, and also I just find them like really easy, flattering, and I think with my like obsession with purples and like those magenta colors and those mid-tone like purple pinky tones at the moment, like the mauves, I think that will pair really well with it. So that's Cliona multi-chrome, and let me see if I can get it out so I can tell you the shade. Oh, I can't get it. I can't get it. I've got it. it is Bloodline. So it is the Cliona Vibrant Multi-Chrome in Bloodline. I may put this whole palette in my drawer. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really decided just yet. So that's that one. And then my favorite palette at the moment, well, I've done a couple of different prompts in this project where I featured my favorite palette, but to assist me in getting every palette with at least one pan in it, I'm selecting a different palette that isn't my absolute favorite. So I currently have pan in my favorite palette and my second favorite palette. This is my third favorite palette. And all of them are from Glaminatrix. So yeah. Actually, I probably could have grabbed out my Roxa palette, but it's a brand new palette. I don't really feel like panning a brand new palette right now. Oh my gosh. I have glitter everywhere. Okay, so this is the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Rich Romance palette. This palette now, the packaging comes with the beautiful embossed roses on it. When I purchased it, they didn't have that option, but now, oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful. So this is what the palette looks like. Now, I was contemplating this one here, but I feel like that's just a waste of such a beautiful palette. I also am worried that if I grab for Rich or Magnetic, that it will be too similar to that multi-chrome that I just grabbed from the Cliona Shadows. But I also think this one here, Admire, might also go really well with the Cliona Shadow. So I think I might just grab for Admire. I was also contemplating like one of these purples down here. These pans in this palette are a lot smaller than some of the other Glaminatrix shadows that I have panned in the past. So I think it will be a lot easier to hit pan on these just because it's like, you know, it's smaller by the larger pans by I think maybe a quarter or a third. So it probably won't take me as long to hit pan in this palette as, say, for example, the Barely Basics palette took me. I think I'm going to go for Admire. I mean, it's not going to stop me from admiring, see what I did there, from enjoying the rest of the palette, but I think this one is going to go better with this shimmer here particularly. I think it will go better and I think I'll just get more use out of it. Maybe I could grab the purple. Maybe the purple might bring the color out better. Okay, now I can't decide. Do I go for Admire, Cherish, or Intimate? I'm going to swatch these on the back of my hand. The back of my hand is covered in... Oh, these are my options. I really like this one. I think I'll get more use out of Admire, but it's that pink and I don't really love pinks. It's like, it's more pink than mauve. I thought it would be more of that, like, more of like a mixture between these two. I think I'm going to go for Cherish for the shadow out of this palette, which is this one here. It's like a mid-tone purple. So I think I can use that more to kind of purplize neutral shadows, but also I can add other colors to it to deepen it up and whatnot. And I think it will go nicely with... Yeah, I think that's going to go nicely with that multi-chrome. I really like the idea of Intimate, which is the deeper purple, but I just feel like it might potentially take me an eternity to hit pan on. So this is my color story. This is my color story with my very bad swatches. I will do I will do a better close-up so you guys can see the color story, but this is what we're working with. We've got like a neutral and colorful, so I think it's a good little split. I'm hopeful that maybe I can hit pan on some of these fairly quickly, especially these neutral ones. I can get a lot of use out of them and I can wear them to work as like daily work makeup. So I'm hopeful that maybe I can get pan on some of these like pretty quickly, maybe in like a month or two, because I'll get a lot of like daily use out of them. So that's my intro to my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. Make sure you let me know down in the comments if you have a goal of hitting pan on any eyeshadows, if you have a goal of using any of your eyeshadows up, or if you're just gonna join me and watch my updates every single month. Let me know down in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe down below if you are new around here and you want to keep up to date on all my project panning videos that I'll be doing this year and any of my other beauty related content. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, beautiful.